So yeah, let's start, right? Like, what was the plan? We had the plan in our whiteboard, so let's go there. The plan is to build an e-commerce store, at least some part of it, where products are listed, and then you have each product detail page. Then we will have a cart and then checkout, right? That was the plan. And yesterday we covered a lot of things regarding the Vue router, some advanced components like the component, what are composables we saw, right? I'm yet to make the assignment, so I'll share the final assignment and the day 4 assignment together. So don't worry. And yeah, day 4 will mostly be revising composables and router, and then day 5 will be a final project that you can take to whatever extent you want it to, right? So yeah, anybody have any doubts before we start? Before, like, from the previous 4 days, because this won't be like I won't be going into every detail while building this. Whatever new comes up, that only will cover. Otherwise, we will keep building. So feel free to put your questions in the chat. And yeah, then we will also deploy it to production and see it working on an actual site on Frappe Cloud. Cool. So there is something in the chat. While installing star-ecom in my local, I get an error regarding cannot create store.html. Then I created the HTML file manually. After that, what might be the reason? Can we use SocketIO? Okay, wait. One question at a time. So there was a question where it was not able to copy, right? So this is the reason. www folder is empty, right? So it maybe wasn't pushed to GitHub. So we can check that. I pushed it to build with Hussein. What was the repository? Star-ecom, right? And if we see this, yeah, so www directory wasn't copied, and our automated script assumes that there is a folder www, right? So that is why what I will do is I will, because Git doesn't track empty folders. So I will add a file called git keep. So this is just a placeholder file that will make sure that www is pushed to the GitHub, and whoever pulls this app also gets it. So git add dot git commit dash m add git keep to www git push. Cool. Now if we refresh this, you will see that www directory was indeed synced. Yeah, so as I said, right, I added a git keep file to www directory. It was empty before. That is why it was not pushed to GitHub, but now it is in GitHub. You can see right now I pushed it. So whoever installs it now won't get that error. Rohit, does that answer your question? Cool. So Prashant says, can we use SocketIO in Vue for auto updating data? So FrappeUI is automatically configured with that, and when you use list resource or document resource, you can just pass real time true and it will be real time using SocketIO. And you can find many examples in other apps as well. So the integration is already there inside FrappeIO, so you don't have to write it from scratch. There is a user viewing the store. Okay, the user has specific permissions below an administrator. In the tests I have done, the login data always appears in the browser console. In the network, is there any way to hide that data or to make a more secure login? What login data are you talking about? Because that data will be only for that user, right? So it's not fetching any other user's data that that user should not be accessing. If that is the case, then we need to fix something. Snehilata asks, if I don't need Frappe login and logout, can I have the session control with my custom Frappe app? Do we need Vue or React for the same? Session control. Can you elaborate on that part? Why don't you need Frappe login and logout? You need your own login, logout endpoints. Is that you want? And not Frappe's login, logout endpoints? Yes. Yeah, you can. So, but then you'll have to use the login manager class. Just go to Frappe repository and search for login manager class. Then you will be able to make your own login and logout endpoints. That can be done. And then you can use hooks. I was telling you about the auth hooks, right? One of the auth hooks that prevent from login from happening from vanilla methods. That thing you can do. But yeah, now we have the www directory that will always be there. And let me just close this part. So yeah, I was not sharing my screen and I was showing you the diagrams. This was that we started this page. So we'll start by displaying the list of products, right? And then we'll go to product details. Then we'll implement the cart. And then we'll go to the checkout final step. That will be the end of today's session. Probably we'll get to it. So yeah, let's get back to our Frappe UI app. So first of all, for displaying the products, right, what do you need? You need the actual DocType or data in the backend, right? So let's go and create a DocType. So I'm not using ERP next, but you can for sure. There is no wrong in that. And in fact, you might be building an integration app that sits on top of the e-commerce integration app, right? That is completely fine. But in this case, I'll just for the simplicity and I don't want to assume that you have context, I'll just create a simple doc type from scratch. So let's go to doc type list. Yeah, add doc type. You can make it go into development mode. So it generates the doc type. So let's go back and cd cd site slash ecom localhost code site config JSON, and then we'll add developer mode. I could have run the command as well, but this is what ultimately the command might have done as well. So now we can clear cache and reload. And now we are creating a standard doc type. Cool. So let's call it product, as simple as that. You can call it website product, or in the e-commerce integration, it is called website item. So if you're using that, then it is already there. So we'll add it to our custom app and let's create and continue. So what all things do we need in a product? So don't worry, we'll also implement this. If you have ever been to amazon.com or .in, you might have seen, let's visit amazon.in, and when you uh, probably some stationery product, let's try to buy that. And maybe we are buying this notepads, and you will see this piece, right, where you can hover over each what do you say, probably we will do click because I don't like this hover part. Hover over each image to see its preview, right? So multiple images are attached to a product that we will implement uh, using what, child table. And there are other details. So first of all, the product name, let's go to settings. Naming rule would be set by user, right? So the user has to set the name. That's cool. And we need a price. So let's add a currency field. Call it price. And then I will add a link field for the currency, right? this can be USD INR. So based on that, in the front end, it will automatically get formatted. That will implement. So Frappe already has a currency doc type, and to make this, we just have to. So now we have linked the currency field with the price field. So the price is of type currency. That is what we have done now by setting these options. Let's go back. Let's check what else we have. Ratings review, we won't implement. That can be your homework, maybe. I should note it down. But yeah, what else do we have? There are variants, so we can play with variants if we want. But yeah, about this item. Okay. So I will add a markdown editor, right? We'll render this markdown in the front end, don't worry. So I will call it product description. And if you think these are not devs, so maybe rich text editor will also work, which is the text editor, right? Then we don't have to render, it will automatically give us the HTML. We can proceed either ways, but I think I'll stick to Markdown editor because I want to show how to use an external library for parsing Markdown. Cool. So now we have the product description, or we can just call it description because the doc type's name is already product. Redundant. Cool. What else? Maybe, yeah, the images, right? The images. For that, first let's save this one, and I'll create a new doc type. Product image module will be com is child table, right? Let's create that. Product image. So what all things we need for an image? We won't need much, just an attach image field. Nice. Will be what do you say? Image URL or just image. Let's do image URL because ultimately that is what we get when we try to access it from backend. And this should be mandatory. Cool. So image URL. And now we can add a child table below this images, or that can be the name of the field, table images, and this will be linked to the product image doc type. Nice. And I think we will make sure this is visible in list view, or technically correctly it is. Okay, in list view is not allowed for, fine. There was an option for grid view, I don't know where it went. In preview, yeah. Okay, so let's visit the product page, create our first product. So this is an UX issue, but yeah, fine for now. Let's call it, what are we selling? Let's sell this thing only. Amazon Basics ruled white pack of 12. Yeah, that's the name. Long name, but let's simplify this. Line writing notepad pack of 12. The price is INR 399. INR. If you want to follow along, that will be great, I guess. And let's add some description. So I'll copy this description from here. And since this is markdown, We can achieve the same that Amazon has using bullet points. Okay, let me remove the images for now. And now we can add images. Let's get the images as well from here. So let's, oh, they have expanded view in a dialog. Maybe if we get time. Copy image address, does that work? Yeah, it works. Nice. So we can directly, we don't even have to download and host it ourselves. But in general, you might have that locally and not depending on an external site for availability, because they might remove it, right? And your things will break then. So now we have two images, and you can have multiple here, right? But yeah, I think the DocType is pretty solid. Let's also make sure the price is visible in list view, and yeah, pretty much let's make this mandatory. So this is not Frappe framework class, so let's not delve much into optimizing this DocType. But yeah, pretty good for now, decent. So we can get started on displaying this thing on our Frappe portal, Frappe UI portal. But notice one thing, for this to work, right? There are this images, but when you are in the list view, there is this image, right? So we'll need one more attach field. Let's add it here. Attach image. We'll call it cover image or preview image, right? And that is mandatory. Yeah, nice. So now we can go to Amazon, copy image address. Nice. So you can see now we have the preview image. So now we have one product. You can add multiple if you want to, but I will just proceed with this for now. Let's bring the browser here and nice. And we'll go back to our Frappe UI app. So let's get the list working. So what I will do is I will do this as if I am doing it for production. So I already have the doc type. So this is how I would do, like as it is. Git add dot git commit dash m core add product doc type, right? That is what we did. Commit for that. Let's proceed. And I already have the pages directory. So I have the home page and I have app.view, which has nothing but this router view. So let's go to the home page, which is this simple thing that you see on the screen, right? So this is at /store. So all the products will be rendered here, opposed to what we were discussing in the drawings that we will do /product/store. We can do that as well. So for that, what I will do is either you visit /store, you will be redirected to /products. Let's implement that using view router ka feature. So what you can say is you can implement a /products here. Path /products, or you can call it products list page, and then the component will be, remember why we do this instead of directly giving the component pages so this right, this refers to the src directory, so you don't have to type the complete path, right? This is like Vite will automatically figure out the correct path. So that is why there is an at. Yeah, lazy load. We are lazy loading. Pages slash products dot. We can call it home. I'll call it products. Because home is maybe they add a landing page afterwards, right? So I will call it products.view. Nice. And now what will happen is I'll remove the meta, I'll remove the component. I will say redirect to products list page. So this is an feature of Vue router where you can provide a redirect, right? Care on read properties of undefined reading URL. Okay, let's go to Vue router docs and check if we are redirecting correctly. Redirect, we can search, redirect. Yes, correct syntax. Okay. Maybe we need to Oh, wait. Products.view. Is it the spelling correct? It's correct. Let's just restart the dev server. Probably that will fix it. Yeah, it fixed, right? So if that thing happens when you are using dynamic or lazy loading, might happen because Vue is not able to figure out the route because you created the file right now. So might be a good idea to just restart the dev server. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Cool. So now what will happen is when the user visits slash store, they are redirected to slash products. Check the URL. See, slash products. Nice. So this is how you redirect in Vue router. Cool. So yeah, let's start. We need a list from the backend, right? That we can display on the page at the very basics. So let's import create list resource from Frappe UI, the first step. Cool. So in my local, somehow the formatter that is configured, the prettier formatter, right, which automatically formats these files, somehow not working. I'll figure it out offline. But yeah, just so you know, in your local, it should work. So you can just run format document and it should format. Cool. So create list resource. Let's create a list resource. We can call it products resource equal to create list resource doc type. What is the doc type that we want to fetch from the backend? Product. And what all fields do we want, right? We don't want the child table right now that we will fetch in the details page, right? We don't want the description. We want the name. We want preview image. We want price and we want the currency. Make sense? And we'll say auto true. So fetch it as soon as this component is mounted, right? So now if we come here and I will leave the header there, let's render the try to render using v4, right? So I will add a div So in this cases, we want to make sure that while the data is being fetched, right, we'll say if product resource dot data. So you have to check whether there is data or not. But like if there is no data and you try to render it, yeah, right, using v-for, it will throw an error, right? Because it will say it is undefined and you are trying to use it in deblet. That why we are using if, that only when there is data, try to render this thing. So for now, I'll render a p tag v-for product in product resource dot list dot data, product resource dot list dot data, and I will render the product dot name. And as soon as I hit save, you will see on the screen we have the name of the product, right? Which is coming from this piece. And I don't like this part, typing it again, right? So what I will do is I will store it in a computed property. Computed from view const products list equal to computed. Why computed? Because this thing is reactive, right? Data changes reactively, and we also want to update the UI when it changes. So this is a reactive computed. So what I will check is I can check if the products resource dot data, if there is data, right? I will return this thing. Again, I forgot the dot list, right? If there is data, return the data, else return an empty list. Then I can come here and say products list. And here also I can say if there is products list. Nice. So if you refresh, you will see that it is fetched, right? So Prashant asks why we use auto true here. So I want it to automatically fetch. I don't want for it to wait for any user action, right? As soon as it creates a list resource, it will start fetching it from the backend. If you don't give auto true, you will have to call it manually like this. Make sense? That is why I give it auto true. So auto true will start fetching this immediately. Cool. So now our code is a little bit cleaner. But yeah, we are getting the product, right? Let's render it nicely. We should add one or two more products to see this better, but for now I'll leave it at that. So what I want is I don't want a paragraph tag. I want to render a div for each product, right? Let's come here, and remember the key part. So what will be unique for each product? The product dot name. So now it has a unique key. Now I want an image which will have a source of product dot preview image. Alt can be product preview image, and it is broken. Can you tell me why? Why it did not work? Bind, right? Because this is dynamic piece. Right now it is treating it as normal string, right? So to bind, we add a colon, and now in the browser, you see the preview image. Nice. And I will add a p tag. I'll display the product name. Hopefully now you understand, right? Attributes require binding. And if you have dynamic thing inside the template, you need curly brackets. That's the two things of dynamic things in template. Nice. And we'll style it, don't worry. What else do we need? we need the pricing. So that is product dot price, right? 399 appears on the screen. Awesome. But we also need the currency, right? So right now, if I do product dot currency, you will see it's INR, but I want the symbol of this, right? I want this thing, rupee symbol. How do I get that? So you can either use an external npm package, right? That does the formatting for you. But I think out of the box nowadays, if I am not wrong, JavaScript internationalization API currency format. Let's see. I just had very faint remembrance of this. Yeah, see. Language sensitive number formatting. Okay. Can't we just pass? Oh, currency is there. Nice. So this is a feature of JavaScript. So let's try it in console first. Always good to try in console. Clear the console. intl dot number format, right? And okay, we have to create a new instance of it. I'll go with English for now. ENIN. And then we give it the style. So I'm just referring to the docs and writing it here. Style will be currency. We want to format the currency. And the currency is coming from backend. For now, I will put INR to check if it gives what I want. And then we can call dot format 399. Okay, currency code is required with currency style. Give the currency code, right? INR. Hmm. What am I missing here? Oh, currency. Currency is misspelled. Correct. Nice. See, we have the formatted currency here. And we can have maximum significant digits. So as well. So there are a lot of options. So this is out of the box. We don't have to npm install anything, right? And the package size doesn't go up. So use the platform. There is a saying in the developer community, like if the platform has this feature, don't either rebuild it yourself or import an external library. Use out of the box things. And we can say maximum significant digits. Right now, I think I will want just one. Oh, so maximum significant digits round it off. Okay. So let's not do that. Cool. Maybe there are some other things that we can try. Oh, we can skip this part, I guess. The ENIN part. Let's try that. So maybe it will automatically take the user who has logged in, like who is using the browser, but it doesn't. Okay. Fine then. Let's revert back. That is why I experiment with this stuff, right? First experiment and then only move it to your, yeah. But the API is nice. It's comprehensive. Oh, there are ENGB liter. Cool. So yeah, this will do for us. So let's copy this part. I'm not doing internationalization as of now, which means like multilingual. So that is called multilingual. So how do we do that, right? Again, a computed property we can call, or we can have a function. Both is possible. What should we do? That we can call in the template itself. So usually what I do is, because this thing will be used in multiple places, right? So I create a utils.js file and add a function here, export function, right? Format currency, and they can send in the amount and currency, right? And this will return this thing, style currency, and whatever currency we got, because you don't want to type this again and again, right? That is why we are writing a utility function. That is why utils.js. So now I can just come here and say import format currency from @/utils just utils. Now we can use this function right in our template. Okay, come on, reload. Nothing works. Let's check JavaScript console. Currency code is required. Read the currency code, right? Oh, two things. See, we have to pass the price and then the currency. We wrote the function, then also we are making mistakes. So now we don't need this piece. Nice. So this is formatted, right? Awesome. We can do this for now because we are doing clean code as well. So it is taking the usual amount of time. Cool. So we now have this nicely there. We can do the rounding off, but I will leave it at that. What should we do next? Let's style it a bit. I don't like this huge thing. So let's do shadow MD. Nice. Rounded SM. And let's add padding all around of 2 or 3 or 4. 4 is fine. And then for this, I will add a margin top 4. Nice. Add H2 probably. Our products. Class, margin top 1, font, semi-bold, text, LG, horizontal rule. You can add, okay, fine, better. And horizontal rule can be added here. Cool. So now we have this. This card looks better, but let's also format this text. Text base, text gray 800. Okay. Font medium looks fine. Let's add a margin top 2, better. Then let's also format the currency. So this is an important thing. So let's do text Excel, font bold, text gray 900. Make sense? Margin top. Okay. Instead of giving that thing this, what we can do is we can say space y. So all of its children, it will place spaces in between in the y direction. Y2. This can be paragraph as well. Otherwise, spans don't respect margins and paddings. Hmm. Yeah, I think it is good. But there is one issue with this. This should be a link, right? They should be able to click it. So we can just convert this div to an A tag. This breaks the thing. So for that, we have to call it display block, and this will fix it. Cool. Because anchor tags by default are inline elements. Cool. So now we have this on hover, nothing happens because we haven't given it an href. And ultimately, if you recall, we have to replace this A with a router link instead, right? That will take to product details page. That will do later. For now, I'll just do hash and you will see the cursor that it works. Nice. So now we have the list view. Let's correct this thing, this thing. Products list works. And we can see there are some issues because it takes the full width. So what I will do is, let's run the cleanup here, run the cleanup here, command tab. I will make it a grid. Grid calls 4, much better. So now it has 4 columns, each taking equal amount of space. Let's go and create one more product. Again, steal from Amazon. Let's steal this one. Amazon brand Sulimon notebook, spiral bound, lightweight, vibrant colors. Okay. Currency will be INR. You can try USD, but generally it will be one currency. So what's the equivalent of 299 INR to USD? I'm going to realistic. It's for $3.59. Preview image, let's get it from copy image address. Not my device. Link. Or description is required. I'll give you the description, don't worry. Haha. Bullet points. Nice. So now if I go back to Frappe UI app, refresh, you will see now we have 2 products. Let's add gap between them. So I will say row gap 12 pixels. Does that work? Yeah, it works. Nice. There are some issues like the currency should touch the bottom. That we can do, but I don't think I will go in that much depth of styling because we are here to learn Frappe UI, right? So let's stick to that. Easily fixable using flexbox though. So you can apply a flexbox here and then space between like this. Okay, let me just do it. We no longer need block and this to go in their own div. And then you can say items center justify between. Oh no. Flex column direction. Yeah, see? So if you don't want center, let's close this page. Always comes in between. We can say items start, which is also the default, by the way. Yeah, much better. So the prices align now. That's a good thing. Cool. Now images don't, but that is fine. We'll fix it later. So yeah, product listing page done. Let's go to VS Code. Oh, VS Code crashed. What? Hmm. Wonder why that happened, but okay. Did I by mistake click go and update yourself? Nice. So now we have the list page. Let's commit. Or wait, let's refactor a bit, right? This can be its own component. This one product card, right? Let's call it product card and make it a component. Because we are learning how to do clean code as well, right? So in the sources, I will create a components directory. I will create a new Vue component. That's the benefit of using something like Vue, right? If we don't leverage it, then what's the use of it? Product card dot view. This will have a template or styles part, and it will require some props, right, to render. Let's just first copy this thing, paste it here. So what all it needs. So we can pass in the complete product as an object. So const props equal to define props product is an object. Nice. So let's come here and render product card. So did it auto import? No, it didn't. Import product card from at slash components slash product card. And this will be moved into this piece. So the formatting of currency also gets encapsulated in the card itself. So now the template is clean, but we have to pass in the product as a prop. Product will be product and v4 will be moved out. Where is the v4? Cool. So for each product, we are rendering a product card component, and that card component renders the actual card. Let's visit the browser and check if everything still works. No, it doesn't. Come on. Product card. Okay. Maybe again a restart might help. But doesn't look like restart is the issue here. Anyways, we'll figure it out. Let's see what's happening here. Uncaught error during route navigation. Source slash product card not found. Oh, see the issue? Anybody? We forgot the dot view. Ha. Now it works. Cool. So usually I like to clean it up before I commit, right? So let's say git add git commit dash m feed products list page. Awesome. Any doubts till now? Oh, so whatever we have learned, that is only we are using the v4, we are using the component concept, right? The list resource. So far, so good. Let's proceed. Yes. So now the task is to have a details page, right? So when you want to add a new page, where do you start? In the router file. So that is why we have separate files, so we can jump into it, right? And I will add a new route here, which will have the path slash products slash a dynamic product name, right? So this will be name, or we can call it ID, whatever you want. I will leave it at name. And then the component. So we'll need a component for this page, which we will create soon. Import. I'll place it inside pages slash product details.vue. So that will be details page or details, both works. Pages. Let's create a new file. Product details dot view. Let's just add a boilerplate code. Product details page. And now I'll go to the router. Let's also give it a name. Product details page. Nice. Right? This is adding a new page and router is configured now. And if I go back and try to go to slash product slash anything, it should take me to the, okay, again, something I missed. Yeah, we added a new file, dynamic imports kind of stops working. So we have to restart the dev server. Yeah, so now we are on the products page, right? So if you just visit products, you will come to this list page. And if you go to products slash anything for now, anything or anything, it will take us to product details page. Nice. But we don't want to manually go in the URL bar and type the product name. We want to happen it on click of any of the cards, right? So let's go back and get that working first. So now we know the place, right? We don't have to come to products to edit. We can just edit one place in the card, product card. And instead of a tag, it will become a router link, right? And what does a router link want? Where to, right? Where should I navigate this person to? And I'll give it an object. I want to take the user to a route named product detail page. And how do we pass the parameters, right? How do we pass the parameters? In this case, we can, like, if we were giving the path, we could have said product slash the name of the product, right? Name. But when you are using object, you can pass params as an object as well. Params. And we want to pass in the name, which will be product dot name. Nice. Let's go back and things start to break. Haha. JavaScript console is your friend. No match for product detail page. Okay, we might have done a typo here. So you see the benefit you get. If route is incorrect, it won't verify. But if name is incorrect, it can. So now if I click on any one of this, you will see the URL down below. Yes, nice. So visiting that product page. Nice. So we got the routing working. So now we can completely focus on product details page. So I told you, right, that how do we get this name in our component, this component details component, which the router is routing to using the use route hook, right? But there is one more way. So let's first use route. Use route from view router, and I can say const route equal to use route, right? Or route, whatever you want to call it. Route dot params dot name will be the product name. Cool. So we can display it here. Cool. Let's go back, try to visit, and you will see indeed this works, right? Amazon Brad Sulimo notebooks. If I come here, Amazon Basics Wide Rule Line notebook. Nice. Cool. Now we can keep working on the details page. So how do we actually fetch all the details, right? We'll go back to VS Code. Let's bring it to the side so we don't have to jump back and forth. So how do we fetch the details, right? Till now we have used the get list resource, but now we want the full product details, right? The whole document. So we will import create document resource. Again, refer to the documentation on frappeui.com. Router. Oh, not Vue. Ha. FrappeUI. And now I'll say const create product resource, or you can call it product doc, whatever you want. Create. And what doc type do you want? I want product doc type. And what is the name of the product that we want from the backend? That is route dot params dot name. Does this make sense? In list, create list resource, we didn't need a name because we weren't fetching a particular doc, right? This is similar to get doc. So you need a doc type and a name. And we can auto fetch it. Auto true on success, right? This handlers you can attach here. Whatever data I get back, let's console.log that data. Nice. And I will open up console. Let's reload. And you will see something is logged. Let's see if it's the correct product and what all it has. It has the creation, currency, description, doc type. Images is empty. Let's go to one which has image child table. Yeah, it has two images, name and image URL. Nice. So we get the doc, right? This is the result of get doc. Makes sense? This is something new that we didn't cover till now. Create document resource. Awesome. Everything's going smooth till now. But yeah, usually once you are through the setup and stuff is working, like the initial setup, then it is like a breeze. Then you just need to know some APIs and components. Call the components APIs, and you have your front end ready. Yeah, I make it sound easy. It is like it's not that difficult after the first phase or when the things are clear in your head. That's what we did the whole 4 days, right? Trying to make things clear in the head. So Wasim says, I don't understand how data is fetching just by putting doc name. There is no API and all. Create document resource. You are importing it from FrappeUI, right? FrappeUI behind the scene knows everything. It knows what's the endpoint to call at Frappe to get a product or get a doc. It knows what API endpoint to call to get a list. So behind the scene, it is calling the APIs. But for you, it is abstracted away so you can do CRUD very easily. Not just a components library. Now it's time to say that, right? It gives you this building blocks as well. So you can easily talk to your Frappe backend. Yeah. Nice. So let's display it. Now we have the data, right? On success, we have the data. So we don't want an on success. Actually, what we want is we want to render that data here. So we can say if there is data, I think it's inside doc. No, just doc. Yeah, just doc. So in list resource, it is called dot list. And here it is called dot doc. And we can print the whole object like we have been doing. This is a good debugging technique, or if you want to check the data, you add a pre, then just json.stringify product resource dot doc null 2, which will format it nicely. You will see we get the whole object, right? Along with the child items. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, let's start. We have the data now. I'll remove everything. What all details do we want? Let's build that image picker first, right? Let's do that. So I will do an H1 and I don't want to type this product resource dot doc again and again. So I will add a computed property. Again, you can do that without this as well, but again, I like to keep things clean. Const. And by the way, we haven't added a loading state yet. Let's add that as well. Const, because in local you won't see the loading spinner or the effect of not having it because it's so fast, right? It's local. But when actually we deploy it to Frappe Cloud, we will start to see some blank pages, no loading spinners. So that is why we have to implement it. Let's say product doc equal to computed, right? If product resource dot doc return that thing, right? That's it. Else it will return, you can manually return null or fine. So now if becomes a lot simpler, we can say if there is the product doc, then only do this. So now product dot doc dot name. Nice. So let's start applying some styles. Font black, text gray 900. What else? Font text to Excel. Okay, even bigger. Is there a 4XL? No, 3XL. Yeah, 3XL. This is nice. So we should add some padding around this page. So we can add one more div. Grab this one here, class padding 5. Nice. Let's also display the image. Or we are building that image thing, right? Which we saw on Amazon. So how do you think we can build this piece? Don't worry about the switching thing, but how do we display this list of images? How do we render this thing? So our first task is to render this list of small thumbnails, right? We already have the child table data, right? What view concept should we use here? Or feature? V for, again, V for and bind to the source. Let's go back, come here, make it smaller, and let's use a V for on the image. V for what? Image in product dot dot images. That is what we called it. And we'll bind the src attribute to image dot image URL if I am not wrong. Alt, for accessibility purposes, you can also provide the alt attribute as a field of the child table. So the whoever is managing this e-commerce store can also set the alt attributes. For now, we'll say product image thumbnail. Should not do this in production. Nice. So we have the two images. That's very nice. We got it working. So let's split it into multiple lines. Nice. And let's split this one as well to multiple lines. Cool. Clear till now? We iterated over each image in the child table or the array, and then we set the source to that object's image URL property. Row dot field name. Cool. So let's add some classes so it's look closer to what we saw on Amazon. So height 20 pixels. Oh, too low. Let's try some 16. Yeah, 16 works. I will add a border 2, border gray 600. Ugly, 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 ugly. So, by the way, there is this neat trick in Tailwind where you can control the opacity of the colors by adding a slash and saying I want it 25%. Nice, right? 25% opacity. And let's add rounded. So it's nice and round. Hopefully it is visible on the screen. It is, right? Let's zoom in so you can see this. And I will add this inside a div. So we can use flexbox, gap 12 pixels, and we want flex column. Oh no. Width, width. Yeah. Otherwise, it will take the full width by default, which we don't want. So yeah, looks nice. Let's add some padding. So for that, what we have to do is, I have to add it and put that image inside the div. Move the v4 to this div, right? Then I will add a class padding because we directly can't apply padding to the image, right? It won't work. Padding 2, okay, it's still, yeah. So border also needs to be moved to the border and rounded. All this will go inside this. Nice. So now we have nice padding around the images. We can't do anything click right now or hover. But yeah, on hover you can add a style here. Let's do that. So on hover, I want the opacity to, there is no background, right? So how will opacity affect it? Hmm. Hover, BG gray, BG overlay. There is also black overlay, white overlay in not Tailwind, but in design system Espresso. See, and we want it to be cursor pointer. Cursor pointer. Nice. We could do better, but for now I'll leave it at this. We can make the whole image opacity less on hover. But yeah, for now I'll leave it at that. Yes, we are getting close. Now let's go to 100% zoom. Add a padding or margin tops. Margin top 5. Yes. Cool. So now we want to display the selected image here, right? So, and somehow highlight that this one is selected or this one is selected. So to store that, whatever the user is currently viewing, let's create a ref reactive variable from here, const, let's call it current. What are these components called? Slideshow? No, not a slideshow. Current preview image. And that will be null to start with, right? But once this product is loaded, which means the data is back from the backend, right? We can say current preview image dot value is equal to data dot images, the first one, ka image URL. Nice. Preview image. If you want it to be more specific, do that. Now we can render that image here. Source will be current preview image URL. Yeah, see? So by default, it will render the first one. And if we click on the second one, it should shift to the second one, right? So let's add a on click on this div. At click, we want current preview image to become image.image URL. The current URL, whatever image you clicked on, right? Nice. This is why these frameworks are good, right? Reactivity. But yeah, somehow we have to show which one is active. So that is very easy. We can come here and when we can apply dynamic classes. Let's split it into multiple lines for readability. Yeah. So what I will say is, yeah, I need a list, right? I am binding it to, and I will check, right, whether this particular image is the one that is shown in the screen. So that is easy. Current preview image URL equal, right? Or the current image URL, right? Then we'll do something. Otherwise, we will do something else, right? So this should be classes. Oh, wait. Either you use single here, double here, or double here, single here. I'll switch this one to single. Nice. So let's apply some classes. Let's do something. So this, if this is equal, right, which means that the current image URL is the one that is viewed, right? So in each image, it will check this. And if it is true, it will apply this set of classes. Otherwise, it apply this set of classes. So I will say bg red 600 and you will see bg red 600, right? Now this. So user knows which image they are viewing. Make sense? So let's not do this PG red thing. Instead, I will do border gray 500 with 70% opacity, 90% opacity. Yeah. So now it is subtle. Nice. Any doubts in this? So you can see we have multiple classes here, right? So first Vue will apply this and then it will apply the dynamic piece. We can merge this. So I will move this part here and remove this thing. And now we can switch back to double inverted commas. Nice. Still works the same, looks the same. But yeah. Now see how like we are combining the pieces, right? Is this responsive on all screens? We have to take care of that. So right now it is looks responsive, but as soon as you expand it, you will see that it is very huge and we want it to be on the same column as this, right? So that Tailwind provides us a way to do that, right? So let's do that. So what will happen is we want this image, right? Let's remove the alt tag. This image and this, whatever, carousel you can call it, carousel. Image carousel. Carousel. How do you pronounce this? Carousel.
Carousel.
Carousel. Okay. Carousel. Image carousel. And image carousel. Right? And this is the image. So we'll wrap both of them in a div, right? And nothing changes in the UI. But now what we can do is we want them in the same row after some breakpoint, right? What would you do in a normal CSS project? You will apply media queries, right? You will say at media, when screen size is greater than this, then apply this set of classes and they take precedence, right? So Tailwind provides us a way to define them as classes as well. So you can say class SM. So that's, if you see closely, you will see at media minimum width 640. So after this minimum width has crossed, apply this class. So we can say flex SM flex. A row is default one. So if I say SM flex, so you will see they appear side by side, right? And if I go in the mobile view, they appear top and bottom. So this is how you can write responsive UI using Tailwind CSS. So this all will be applied always, but this will be only applied after 640 pixel, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 640 pixels. This behind the scene generated the media query for you. The more you learn Tailwind, the better you can do all this stuff. So yeah, let's limit the width as well. I don't like this width. So this image needs to limit itself. So in mobile, it can be whatever it wants, but after this, we want it to have a width of 40, let's say. Too less. Height 40. Doesn't make a difference. So what we can do is instead we can apply a max width. Max width. Yeah. So what this is doing is applying a max width of 512 pixels. Looks decent. Let's add some space between these two. That can be done using SM gap 6. Yeah. Yeah, we are getting close to Amazon. But yeah, nice. So let's display the price and a button to check out, right? To add to cart, add to cart. And we'll implement the cart then. Let's increase the speed. And come on, let's come down here. I will add a div and I will add a paragraph tag. So now since we have the format currency function, we can directly reuse it, right? We can come here and say import format currency. By the way, if there is some function that you don't want to import and again and again, you can inject it at main.js file and you will have access to it in all of the components, right? For now, I'll do this. Maybe later you can see them in action in other apps. Format currency. This is a dynamic thing. And if you recall, what does format currency takes? If you visit the utils file, it takes the amount and the currency, right? Which will be product doc dot price and product doc dot currency. So it will give you the formatted price now. Nice. Yeah. So let's style it. So I will copy over the style from here and I will tell you why I'm copying and why I should not, right? Maybe this is something you want, right? Right. Maybe you want to change something and the style is different. But if this thing, the formatted thing, is same as this thing, you will see there is some error. We'll fix it. The issue is we can reuse it, right? We can create a component out of it. Let's say formatted price, right? In that case, you can create a component. For now, I don't want this. I want it to be text more than that. Text 3XL. Nice. I will see this is 3XL. And I will tell you why that annoying thing is happening where on reload it's not properly, what do you say, setting the image. That will deal with it. But yeah, now we have the price here and now we want a button. So let's import the button component from FrappeUI, right? And also import the badge. And I'll tell you why I'm importing the badge as well. So let's import the button. As you can see, again, it went away, right? This is happening because we are only setting this on success, this thing, right? And this is not fetched again and again, right? Whenever you save, it is not going to the backend and fetching it again. Because hot module relating and etc. etc. So what you can do is you can make it a computed thing, right? You can say const current image URL. No, wait, not computed. We can do it on mounted maybe. On mounted makes sense. So whenever this component is mounted, right, we can say again, what if at mount the data is not loaded, right? What do we do that? What do we do in that case? So we'll have to think how to fix that and what is actually happening. Let's go back to our setup and try to fix it. So how do you even figure out what is going wrong, right? Why is it not getting rendered? So this is the right time to introduce you to Vue Dev Tools, right? So they are a browser extension which you install and they should be visible once you install them here in, let me just expand this window and you will be able to see they appear in your browser dev tools, right? So when I click this, right, it will open up a very helpful panel which you can see it shows us the components because you can't directly see this component tree in HTML, right? This is the output what Vue has produced, not the thing that is actually we have implemented, right? But this thing, when you click on anything, you will see what's the current route, right? Full path. You can see the details, right? Which means all the state that this component has, right? And as you can see, the current preview image URL is null, which means it is not getting set properly. But as you can see, it is null, right? And when you switch to something, it is switching. But what about the initial load, right? So if we can fix somehow setting of this, so suppose I come here, make a change, right? Let's change something. Where should we change it? Let's do glab 5, right? If I hit save, okay, it didn't go away this time. Usually it goes away. Maybe this kind of changes make it go away. Yeah, it's gone. See, it becomes null, right? So how do we handle that? So instead of doing it in on success, we will do it in watch. So we'll say, watch this product doc, right? Whenever the list of images changes, just make sure you update those, right? Update the current preview image. So watch for it, right? You can give it a function. So what am I watching for, right? So we are watching for product doc dot we are watching for product doc, right? Whenever it changes, run this function. So it will change on success, right? So we no longer need this. We can put this line here and date will become product doc and on success can be removed. So what did I do? I said whenever the product doc changes, we can even remove this piece. There are errors, let's check them. Okay, it's not loading now. Come on. Okay, maybe we did something we shouldn't have. Set a function, unhandled error. Cannot access product dot before even initialization. Yeah, nice. That is what you do, right? You try to access a variable before you have defined it. Ha. Some more errors. Let's figure them out. Cannot read properties of undefined, reading 0. Okay. Got it. So we'll have to check if there is a product doc, right? If there is a product doc, then only do this thing. Cannot read properties of undefined. Okay. But images is there, right? So product doc. Oh, wait, this is a computed thing. In template, we don't have to do dot value, but when you are using it in script, you have to do dot value. And you can see now this is fixed. And this should even work when you change something here. So nice. We fixed the issue. What did we do? Instead of relying on success, which is only called once, right? When the request is successful, we are relying on a watcher that watches the doc, right? If the doc changes, right? Yeah, I think even we need this, or let's keep it at that because it returns null if there is no doc. This will make sure the current preview image URL is set to the first image in that list. And you can make it more robust. You can say if there is an image, right? because there might not be any images in the array. So you can say product doc dot images dot length is greater than 0, right? Again, did the same mistake, dot value, and it works. And if you try to do this in this thing, it's null, right? So you can apply again if to say that there is no product image available or whatever. And you will see this grid, right, doesn't look good in mobile. So now that we learned how to do responsive classes, we can go back to our products page and only apply the grid calls to after SM. Otherwise, it can be grid calls 1, right? So now it is responsive. So if you expand this browser window, you will see it shifts to 4. Nice. Let's go back to one row. Yep. Let's switch to this. So we have this working. Nice. So what's the next step? We imported a button in the details page. Here, the button, right? So let's add that button. This div button, add to cart, right? And I want it to be a fancy button, not some normal variant solid, right? Size. So let's check FrappeUI.com for what all sizes are available for a button. I will go to the button, solid. What's 2XL is the largest, but I think XL will do for us. So I will go and say size XL. Let's try 2XL. This is also good. We can apply some spacing between these two, space Y3. Cool. Add to cart. Wouldn't it be good if we have the cart icon here, right? It will be nice, right, to have a cart icon in the in this button. Let's add that quickly. So what FrappeUI did was, if you check package.json, it also installed feather icons, right? So you can use that. And if you go to FrappeIO and you search for icon, it gives you a feather icon component, right? So we'll come here and say feather icon. I'll come here and say template prefix. So you can have a prefix, suffix. So I want this icon to appear before the text, right? Now I'll say feather icon, and you can give it a name, right? What actual icon you are trying to render, right? So you can go to feathericons.com and search for a cart icon. Let's see if we have that. Shopping cart. Nice. So shopping cart. Let's go back. And it's too big, so it's not visible in the button. Let's add H1. It's too small now. H8, too big. H6, H5. Looks decent to me. Yeah. You can have a stroke width as well, but that is fine. I kind of like how this is looking. But yeah, this is named slots, right? Again, so it will put it in the prefix of the button. Nice. So the styles and everything still works. Okay. So let's add a click listener to this. At click. Add to cart. Add to cart. Add item to cart. Let's define that function down below. Function. Nice. So we know what item, that is this route.params.name. But we have to implement the card before we can do add to cart, right? Now we have to think how we implement the cart. Const product name. And let's stick to the conventions we have used. Let's call it product and not item. Add product to cart. I'll change this here as well. And this will be called whenever the user clicks add to cart, right? So how do we implement a cart now, right? So the cart has to be global in the sense like once you add it to the cart, you can go back as well, right? So we need something that is above all normal components. And which is that one thing that's always there, right? That's not does not go away because as soon as you navigate back to products list page, the details gone away, right? The component is unmounted, the data is cleared, the state is reset. So we need something that is persistent throughout the components or all the pages, right? So we can go to main.js and we can create the thing here. So what I will do is I will create a reactive variable here and I will call it cart, right? What am I doing? I'm creating a reactive variable at the top level with the main.js outside all the components, top of it, and it will start empty, right? Cart can be a list or an object, doesn't matter. So we can call it items as empty. So maybe other properties will come in this. That's fine. So how do you give your components or the component tree actually, all of the components access to this cart, right? And Vue has a really nice feature for this. You don't have to do props thing, right? Parent, give it to the parent and parent will give it to the child. No, you give it at the top of the tree and all its children have access to it. That is the feature of providing and injecting. So what I will do is I will import provide, or you can directly use app.provide as well. So I think we have to use app.provide, and you can give it a unique key, right? So let's call it cart. And then I'm giving this to the whole app. So suppose I put some secret, hello, this is not supposed to be read, right? What did I do? I said app.provide and I give it a unique key. So in the children, we can refer it to by this name, right? That I want this thing and gave this reactive object, right? So in the children, this was the provide part, right? We are providing it. And in the details, I can come here and say import inject from Vue. And then you can come here and say card equal to inject and then the key, which should match this key while you were providing it, right? So now you can inject the card in any of the components as long as they are in the app, right? So a very good point in the chat. Nanda Gopal asked, so we don't need any state management here. Yeah, you can have a small, you don't need a fancy state management just for a small cart, right? You can just use provide inject with reactive and it works. So you don't need a special state management solution to have global state. Yeah. So let's do one thing. I will try to render this secret message below the cart. Let's render it here. Cart dot secret. What did we call it? Secret message or secret. And you will see, hello, this is not supposed to be read. Nice. So now that cart is above all and working. So now add to cart is simple. You'll come here and say cart dot items dot, right? We are implementing a very simple class, right? Dot push, right? Because it's an array. We want to push an object which will be name of product name. Nice. So we should also show some message that, okay, item added to cart, right? Usually they show that message. So how do we show that? We need some form of alert component that is there in Frappe UI, but that requires some basic setup. What's the easier way to do this? Let's check frappeui.com if we have docs for alert component. Sadly, we don't. As far as I know, there is an alert component, but that is not documented. Fine. So what do you do when you find something that is not documented and you find it in an app, right? Open source. We try to figure it out from the Frappe UI repo. That's what I would do. Like, I'll try to figure it out. I'll go into the source. And I will go into the components folder. These are the components. Is there an alert component? You see, the first component is alert.vue. So this is the alert component. How do we use it? There should be some documentation. This very basic component, I guess this is not yet ready for use by us. That is why it is not documented. So let's do one thing. We can use a outside package. Vue alert npm, something like that. Vue simple alert. Let's see. Or this component is called something else. What is it called? Do you anyone remember what it is called? Toast. Vue toaster. Oh, it has 190 stars, so this is not the one I'm looking for. Vue toast component. Alert is something else. Yeah, I was going in the wrong direction. Oh, 3000 stars. Vue toastification. Ha, toastification. How do we use it? So packages outside of Frappe UI are there as well, right? You can use Vue toast as well. Okay. Vue toast. Which one you are telling about? I think let's use this one. This looks easier. Installation is, we can use yarn or this. Let's use yarn. Let's go here, cd into store folder, and install this package. And then how to use this? So we have to import CSS as well. Okay. And the toast. Cool. It's installed. So let's set it up. So usually whenever you install this plugins or things in Vue, it will give you some starter code of how to configure it in main.js, and usually that is main.js. And then we have to just say app.use come here. I say app.use toast. Options, we'll leave it empty for now. Let's see what happens. So how do you create toast? Okay, it gives you a composable, right? Use toast. Let's copy that to our details page. Use toast. Again, I've never used this library, but yeah, use toast. And then you can get the toast interface here. You see this pattern, right? This follows the same pattern. So composable pattern. And now you can just say toast, I'm a toast. Okay. Let's try running it. And let's run it right here for now. Toast. Yes, it works. Yes, it works. Nice. So looks ugly, but yeah, you can style it later. So after I have added to cart, I will say toast.success item added to cart. Nice. Ta-da! We learned something new. Awesome. So we use the Vue toastification package. First, we added the configuration they provided in the docs, and then we used the hooks they provide, and that's it. And soon, I think there will be toast component in Frappe UI, and there isn't documented yet. Maybe, yeah, it's not there, but yeah, it will be there. Don't worry, because it's such an important component, and Espresso has a very nice looking toast. This looks very, what do you say, catchy, attention catchy. But yeah, add to cart works, but where is the cart, right? Let's in the nav bar, let's build a nav bar first. Add a nav, and we can go and grab this part. This shouldn't be here, right? This is the products page. Nav bar should be part of this thing, so it's visible always. And then let's add a padding 3 horizontal row. I will remove for now. And what I want is I want a cart icon again, right? So again, I can come here, script, setup, import feather icons, or you can use any other package that provides icons, right? Import feather to just for consistency, because we have used the same cart icon. So I'll come here and I will say feather icon, give it a name. What was it? Shopping cart. Too big, too big, too big. H10. Yeah, 10 would do. And now we want this to be flex items center justify between. Nice, the cart is there. Let's do padding 4. We are getting there, right? You can again style it properly, make it look similar to the size of this, but we want to show how many items are there in the cart, right? So let's import again. Since we have the cart at the main.js level, we can inject it using the inject function from Vue const. That's the same cart for everything. Inject the cart, and then you can display the number of items here. So I will wrap this thing in a div. I will add a paragraph tag or span, which will display cart dot items dot length length. You will see 2, right? Flex. And let's make it a paragraph tag. Give it a class of text. gray 700, font bold, and I won't focus much on styling. We don't have much time. But you will see now it shows 2 items. And if I click on add to cart again, it became 3 item immediately because it's reactive, right? In main.js, we defined a reactive variable, which means Vue knows where it is used and what UI parts to update, right? Even if you visit home now, let's go back to home. Let's make sure this is an A tag or router link, of course. Router links. Rarely we will see, and it will take you to name products list page. Was it correct? See, the card still remains 3, right? Anywhere you go, this is global state. Nice. And now on click of this, I want a dialog to open which shows the cart content, and we will be done for the cart part. So, where do we add it? And then we'll implement the cart. That's the last feature. So let's wrap it up. Cart and checkout should not be that hard. And we have to display the description. So let's note down. We want cart dialog. Yeah, that's why I was importing the badge. Ah, I think so. Yeah, now I remember. We can add the badge component to the top part of the cart. Yeah, we'll do that. So we want the cart dialog. So after the break, we'll do this. Cart dialog, fix cart badge, and then we'll implement checkout page. That should be simple, but cart dialog will be the main thing. That's it. By the way, I have assumed one thing, that you can add the same item multiple times. Usually it is not that way. So what you can do is you can enhance this here. You can check if it is already in the list, right? You can check here. You can run a for loop and check if the item is in the list already, and then done. Then you can just increase the quantity. That is there, like you can do it here. But yeah, the core logic that I wanted to cover is this. So fix the cart badge, add the cart dialog, then we will have a checkout page. And one more thing, I will show you how to maintain the cart on page refresh. Right now, if you do page refresh, the cart is gone, right? Persistent cart using local storage browser feature, right? So by the way, like just a quick view of this. Where do you have view of this? Oh, just a quick note on provide inject. Yeah. So suppose this is our app tree. So this is app component, and then it has other components, right? Like for example, when you are in the home page, it has the products list component, right? And it can have the product details component. So when you inject something at app level, app.inject, right? It is available to all its children. Make sense? Suppose you have product list and there are product cards, and you inject here, right? You inject here. You can inject here. Then only it will be available to its children, not siblings, not the parent. So keep that in mind. So the more on the top you are, the more components have access to your inject, right? The children's and descendants, not siblings. So that was the piece. Let's visit back our FrappeUI app, ecom.localhost. And you can provide here as well, right? Would be the same thing. So instead of providing in main.js, you provide it here. Both work. But instead of app.provide, you have to use the provide function. Cool. So yeah, we were working on the card. Let's fix the styling of the card. First thing. So since we are using Frappe UI, let's get the badge. Oh no, it won't be here. It will be here. And let's do one thing. Let's create a navbar component. So stuff remains clean. By the way, like this comes with the Vue VS Code extension, the boilerplate shortcut. So now we can move the nav inside the navbar. So app.view remains clean. And move this here. Inject is required, of course. Then we import navbar component and use it here. Much more readable, right? When you come to app.view, you will easily figure out where to look for what. And then still works. But then now I can come here and have badge and use instead of this ugly text and have badge, and we don't need the braces anymore. Instead, we don't need the items as well. So we can say variant solid. Nice. And flex start. It's already flex start. You can do some magic as well using absolute positioning. You can put it inside the cart. I'm not going to do it. You can. But yeah. This looks fine to me. And if we do add to cart, item added to cart, and this is one, right? Nice. Cool. So after the break, cart badge is fixed. Now is the part of cart dialog. So we have the dialog component. So where should we put it? Should we put it in app.view? Should we put it in navbar? So we'll put it in navbar because navbar is also available everywhere and dialog is also available everywhere. Right? So let's get a dialog component. One more thing got reminded about in the break was this description, product description. We haven't, and tabs. This will go hand in hand. So we cover the tabs component as well. Nice. We are increasing the scope, but let's not get carried away. Dialog, right? And we can have a variable because we have to control, right, whether the dialog is visible or not. So we will import ref. I will call it cart dialog shown equal to ref false. So initially it won't be shown. v model card dialog shown, right? And on click of this thing, so we can make this a button now, right? This, and on click, I will do nothing but to set this to true. So the dialog will be shown now. Nice. Progress. And let's give it the options. So title will be your cart. Your cart. Nice. In big screens, you can give it a big size, but on small screens, it's always full width. So 3XL, 2XL, your call. You can check the documentation and see. But yeah, now we have the cart. Let's render the cart items, right? That we can do inside the dialog body. That's a slot, right? Dialog body, if I'm not wrong. Hello. No, not that. So let's quickly jump to the docs and check FrappeUI.com. Dialog, dialog, dialog. Okay, either you can use slots or body content. Nice. So it's body content. Yeah, now it displays, right? So body content, we can put anything here. So we'll render the cart. So let's start with an unordered list. V for, we want to iterate over each item in the cart, right? For item in cart dot items, will display item dot name, right? So since, as you can see, there is no persistent cart, so on refresh it goes away. Let's add one thing to cart. Let's add it again. I hate this toast, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. So these things you don't have to remember. Even as you can see, I didn't remember, right? So check out the docs. So now we have two pieces of this thing. Let's do some styling, I guess. And if you need quantity input, let's do that. Form control, right? We can have a form control of type number placeholder will be quantity. See, quantity. You can style it better, of course. Or you can have that plus minus button. Your call. So space Y 3. Yeah, better. And how do we get the index? If you remember, like this, right? So we can say item number. See, item number 0. So we'll add a 1. Some syntax issue. Maybe this is expecting this thing. or this is not expecting this. Yeah, item number 1. Yeah, I won't do much in styling. So this is 1, 2, and you can set the quantity. And we have to bind it, right? So what we will do is we will go to the product details. And when we are adding the stuff to cart, we'll make sure the quantity is 1 by default. So now we can come here and we model it to item dot quantity. So it should be 1 by default. So let's go back, add stuff to cart, right? And you will see they are 1 by default, but the user can increase, decrease the number of things. And then there will be an action to check out. And provide the actions here instead of rendering our own button. Actions. Okay, should be an object. Label. Proceed to checkout, right? And we want, this is the primary action here. So variant will be solid, right? Nice. So now they can check their cart and proceed to checkout. And on checkout, on click, will take them to a checkout page. That's it there. And how do we do that? Now we need to use the router because this is programmatic navigation, right? On the click of a button, we want them to be navigated to the checkout page. We could use router link, but I don't want to. Programmatic is better because we might want to run some validations in the cart, or you might want to apply some discounts or calculate some stuff before checkout. So what I will do is I will import use router from view router const router equal to use router. And this will give us access to the methods dot push, right? Which page do you want to go to? I want to go to, let's go to router and see. Oh, we don't have a checkout page yet, and that requires login. So it will throw us to the login page if they are not logged in. So that part is set up already. So we want to go to checkout page, and we will create a new page here. Component import art/pages/checkout.view. If the same item, it should be added once to the cart, then user can increase the quantity. Yeah, I said, right, I'm not implementing that feature. You can. Or if we'll get time at the very end, we'll fix it. In the checkout, I want to show one thing that is like calling custom APIs, and then we'll be done. Okay. So let's create a checkout page. Checkout.view, or we also have to deploy it right now. So the very end, deploy to FC. The list keeps growing. But yeah. Cool. So what was I doing? Checkout. And then if I add this to cart, increase the quantity to 5, right? Proceed to checkout. Cannot read again, as I said, right? This dynamic import thing and Yando, this development server has some issues. Yeah. Let's try now. Add to cart. It got added to cart. Proceed to checkout. We have to close the dialog, by the way. So this passes us a function which we can call right here. Nice. Let's try again. Let's add this thing to cart. Let's go back, add this thing to cart, right? And I want to order 2 of this, 3 of this, proceed to checkout. Now dialog is closed and we are in the checkout page. Nice. Search bar should be easy, right? I will give a hint at the end. Works. So Frappe UI has this small things like, okay, it gives you the close, so you can close the dialog whenever you want to, or we could have done this as well. So same as this is should be, if you do this is equal to false, so it will hide the dialog. Remember? Cool. Okay. So what else should we do? Yeah, we were we will write a custom endpoint for checkout and create some doc order or something, right? Let's go back to the backend world now. We have been in the front end for quite some time. This is full stack, right? Or at least the API layer and front end. And I will create a API.py file. I want a file, not a folder. API.py, and let's import Frappe, at Frappe.whitelist, def checkout, and it will need the products, right? Pass. So what should we do on checkout or order? We can call it place order. Place order with this products. We'll have the current user, that is for sure, because they are logged in, right? Frappe.session.user. And we are not doing allow guest, so we are sure that this is not a guest. So current user, we can have the products. Let's quickly create a DocType. DocTypes are free. So you can assume if you are using ERP next, you might have the DocType already, which is sales order. But since I'm not using ERP next, I'll create a simple DocType, submittable, of course, sales order or order. Module will be e-commerce. Cool. So order will be auto increment, order 1, order 2, order 3. Then we'll need a link field. Who is the customer? That will be a link to a user, right? Let's move this to the top. This is mandatory. Then what all items and quantity they have ordered. For that, we will need a child table. So let's go back and create a child table quickly. Order item e-commerce child table, create link. What product are they ordering? Which will be a link to a product. And then an integer quantity, non-negative. Break this, make this mandatory, make the quantity mandatory, make the default quantity as 1, hit save. This should be visible in list view. This should, oh, both are mandatory, so automatically it got checked. And now I will add a table here. We'll call them items they are ordering, right? I will give it the child table, right? So I'm assuming that you know this part. That's why I'm going fast. So now we have the items, the customer, We can have order date if you want to, but I think I'm fine with this simple thing. So the concepts will be same. Your implementation might differ based on what data you want to collect from the customer. You may need a address DocType, right? I think there is already an address DocType. So what address and delivery, etc., you might want to ask to the user. But I'll keep it this. There should be at least one item. So that's why I made the table mandatory. Let's hit save. And there can be a select field, right? Status of the order. And we'll give it placed, shipped, delivered, and default can be placed. Sort options, why not? List, empty, right? So now when they check out, we'll get a list of products. So I'm assuming the products looks like this. I'll send it from front end because I am the one who is writing the front end as well. So it looks like this. So it can be name, right? What is the name of the product? And which is exactly what we need in the child table as well. So let's create a new order, frappe.new doc, order, new order. We'll say new order dot customer is the current user. Nice. New order dot items equal to this products list that's coming from the front end. New order dot insert. Ignore permissions for now, but you can configure permissions as well. And return this new order. But yeah, we'll return the new order, or you can just return the ID of the order. So to show them, okay, the order is placed and this is your ID for tracking or whatever, right? Generally, you will have a payment step in between. You won't give everything for free right now. That what I am doing. So yeah. So what I will import from Frappe UI. Let's in the checkout page. I want use resource, not document resource, not list resource. We are because now we want to call a custom API endpoint, right? Like place order. That is why use resource. And I'll come here, I'll say place order resource or place order. You can name it like matter of taste. Create resource, right? This is for calling arbitrary endpoints, not just list and doc, right? Maybe you want to call a report API from ERP Next backend. Create resource is your code. And again, I can go to the docs and check for resource, and it takes the URL and the method. Okay, cool. So we'll give it the URL. Since we have in the main.js file, right, configured this Frappe request thing, right, the resource fetcher, it will understand that it is a dotted path and it will make sure it makes the request to slash API slash method slash the dotted path and not directly the dotted path. We saw that in, I think, date 3, if I'm not wrong, that if you don't set that configuration, it will assume that it is a normal backend and not a Frappe backend. So you can use this one, create resource, with any backend, not just Frappe backend. But document and list depend on it being a Frappe backend. So yeah, URL is the dotted path. Star ecom.api dot star ecom.api dot place order. And we'll have to give parameters, right? So again, I can check the docs on how to give the pass the products. See here, the documentation explains. Then you can cache as well, by the way, like I didn't cover it, but suppose you have something that you can, some resource, right, that you want to cache. Don't fetch it again and again, right? So it will cache it in the browser ka local storage. And give it to you. Make params. So you can directly give params, right? The parameters, or you can call a function that generates this params, right? So both have their use cases. So I will do make params because params will be evaluated only when this code is running, right? But if you give it a function instead, this will be called when you actually make the request. So we'll return an object here. What do we want to send to the backend? We want to send the products, which will be cart.items. Nice. And when do we call this place order resource? Let's add a button to the checkout page and we'll do that. Let's add, oh, create resource, use resource. It should be create resource. Okay. So if you would have used normal params here, it would have just taken it as is. What if it changes in between their button click and like if they change it here, right? In that case, function is the best way to go. So what I will do is I will add a button, not the dialog. Oh, we did it at the wrong place. See, we have to do this in checkout page. Nobody noticed. This resource shouldn't be here, but it should be inside. That's why I said, like, why is checkout already having this all sort of stuff? This create resource should be imported in checkout. And we need the cart. So again, see, like global state has its own use cases. We don't have to pass around the cart always. We can just inject it. Inject from view. And we can get the cart. Inject the global cart here. And this should work. So yeah. In checkout page, we have, let's import button. Place order, right? And on the click of this button, we will say place order dot submit or dot fetch, right? This will submit this resource to the backend along with the items. Cool. And I want a loading state. So we can bind it to place order resource dot loading. So it will show a loading spinner when it is loading. So let's click on the button and try now. Oh, it for a moment the loading spinner came and it went away. Let's check our backend if the order got created. No. So probably something went wrong. So again, as I said, right, there is an error message component which we can display here. Message equal to or error equal to. Error equal to, we have to bind, of course, the resource dot error. So resource contains all the state. Okay. Is it error or message? Yeah, message. Data missing in tables items. Okay, what did we do? Let's go to the API. Items. We set it to products. 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 Okay, let's add a breakpoint and inspect. You will see the breakpoint is there. Let's go back and see what the products is. It's an empty list. Okay. Oh yeah, we didn't add anything to the cart. Cart is empty. But we get to see, right, how you can debug this. Let's go back. It's always good to show error messages and this and that. But yeah. Parappa. Data missing in table items, right? So in this case, to enhance the user experience, you can say if not products frappe dot throw can't place order. So user friendly message with no items. It should hide the button. So that is one more thing it should do. Can't place order with no items. Yes. So we can do if and hide the button. Your cart is empty, maybe, right? Cart empty. If cart dot items dot length equal 0. We else. So front and back end, we are adding prevention measures on the both side. Cart is empty, but if we go back, let's add this thing to the cart, right? And open the cart, increase the quantity, proceed to checkout. And you can see place order button is there. Let's place the order. Internal server error. Let's check. Dict object has no attribute is new. Okay. Hmm. The error is coming from this line. Probably, we shouldn't directly do this. Or should we? No. Should we not? Why is this happening? It's calling set defaults and then there is d dot new. So dict object has no is new. Where is it trying to call it? And why? Probably because let's add a breakpoint again. Anybody, any idea? Uh, Probably that's the right way, I guess. So Gurshin says we can do this. Dot set. So setting the child table, maybe that was the issue. Let's give it a try. Cart is empty. Let's fix that part. Value missing for product. Okay, got it. We are calling it item and not product, right? So either we can change the front end or the back end. Thanks, Gushin. This works now. But yeah. This is name here. And in the back end, it is named product. So let's do one thing. Let's change it here. Product. And then change it in Navbar as well. So in ideal case, I will refactor this dialog out of this thing into its own component called cart dialog, right? But I'm not doing this right now, just telling you that I would have done that. And in the dialog, instead of referring it as item.name, I will refer it to as item.product. Cool. Let's go back, add this to cart. Okay. Let's go here, proceed to checkout, place order. No error. Let's go to the backend, check the order list. Order list. Order number 5 is placed and it has this as quantity 1. Nice. So orders are being placed now. Cool. So what else was on list? Cart dialog is done. Checkout page is done. Persistent cart, right? So how do we have a persistent cart? So browser has this feature called local storage, right? So let's quickly search for local storage MDN. Yeah. Local storage, read-only property of window interface allows you to access a storage object from the document's origin. The stored data is saved across browser sessions. Remember? So it is saved across browser sessions. It's similar to except that local has no expiration date. So it will be there forever. Okay, so how do we use this? Show me examples. Oh, it's key value pairs. You just set an item, get an item. Nice. So what we can do is we can do a nice thing here. So we can in main.js, right, where we are initializing this empty cart, we can say local storage dot get item, right, cart, right? I'm loading the initial cart state. So if it is already there, I'm assuming it is there. It won't be there the first time. So I will say const cart data. And by the way, you can't store complicated objects, so you will have to do JSON dot this that. If not cart data, right? Else cart data equal to JSON dot parse. So you can't store objects in local storage. So we'll parse it in a string, then store it, and then again while we are getting it out, we will parse it. And if there is no cart data, we will say local storage dot set item cart to empty list. Secret we no longer need. This empty list. Cool. Right? Otherwise, we have loaded it and we will load it here. Okay. What did I do? I said, give me this item. I'm asking the local storage of the browser that give me the cart item. And if it is not there, I'm setting it to an empty thing, right? It's the initial state. And again, cart data is also set to the same thing. Else, which means there was already cart data, then in that case, I'm parsing and setting the cart to that data. So this will properly make sure that stuff works. Let's just check what did we do. Is not valid JSON. What is not valid JSON? Oh, as I said, right, we have to parse it first. So we'll say const parse, or as in serialize it, serialize. Or we can say JSON cart JSON equal to JSON dot stringify this piece. And then I will say cart JSON. Right. Object is not valid JSON. Huh. which means it parses and oh stores. Let's again go back to local storage MDN and read it properly. That is why you read the docs carefully. Maybe we don't have to do JSON dot this that. Maybe I remember something else. Hmm. See, it has to be a string. I was not wrong. Then why is it shouting? See, it says storage only supports storing and retrieving strings. If you want to save other data types, you have to convert them to strings. For plain objects and arrays, you can use JSON.stringify. So why is it shouting in JavaScript console? This particular line, parse. Let's console log. Object. Okay. So let's delete the initial state. So you can see your local storage here when you go to the application tab in the browser. Local storage. And this, let's delete it. It's not, let's clear it. Yeah. Now if you see cart is set correctly, assignment to const variable where this should be let. So now if we have done things correctly, right? We are still to update the cart whenever the new items are added. So what I can do is I can go to my product details page and say update cart, update cart, or what would be the better way to do this? So the best way, I guess, would be to go to app.vue because we can't track, right? What all things are changing the cart, what all places are changing the cart. So we can watch, right? We can watch. We can say watch for cart changes. So we can say watch and inject, combine them together, inject the cart. So I will watch, and I'm not interested in the whole cart. I want to just watch cart.items. If they change, I want to update cart in local storage. That is easy. Local storage dot set item cart as json.stringify the cart. Let's see. Add to cart. Okay. Let's check the browser console. No errors. Let's go back and add one more. Let's refresh the page, the moment of truth. I refreshed. Okay, it's not there. Ha. Let's check the thing. You see it's empty. So if I do add to cart, it should have updated it, but somehow it doesn't. Is the watcher running? That's the first thing. Maybe this watcher isn't running. Watcher works. Yeah, it's not working. Yeah, now watcher works and cart is updated. I think I like will have you will have to check when you use functions with watcher and when you use direct variables, right? In reactive, it automatically I think works without the function. But yeah, now we have, let's add this as well to the cart. 2 items in the cart, right? I refresh the page and there are 2 items in the cart. Nice. Still works. And I can check out. And I think this should work as well. If I do quantity 10, go out, refresh, quantity still remains 10. So it is also stored in local storage. Proceed to checkout. Place my order. Order should be placed. Order 6, right? 1 and 10. Nice. Awesome. You clear browser. The user can clear, right? So his cart goes away. It's in the front end, so we don't have any control over that. You can store it in your backend session object as well if you want it to persist for that user or Redis cache. How do we clear cart? You can, right? Now it will be just modifying the variable. So maybe I add a delete button here. Send a navbar. Let's import button from FrappeUI. Variant outline. Let's use a new type of button. Variant outline and theme red. Remove. Right. Remove button. Let's add margin top 2, right? And then on click of this, remove item from cart or remove product from cart. We can give it the, we have done this when we were seeing delete to do, same concept. Okay. For some reason this isn't working. Slice or splice? Oh, splice. Slice will give you a slice of the array. Splice will modify the array, cut it up. Remove. Gone. Your card count comes 0. Remove. Empty. 0. Done. This was that thing. And persistent cart is done. Again, product description you can implement, not an issue. You can go to product details. And we already have the doc, right? So we just have to come here before add to cart. Let's do that. Add a div. I will add product doc dot description, right? Go back. So this is not formatted as markdown, but we can use a package, markdown it, Let's install it. npm install markdown it. Or we can do yarn add because we are using yarn. So let's stick with one package manager. Done. Now you can go to your code and copy this part, import markdown it from markdown it. Right? I always miss the I. And then we can create a new instance of it. Let's create it here. And then let's call it md is fine. So now you can come here and you can say md.render this markdown. What does this give you? This gives you HTML. See, it renders the markdown and gives you HTML. So how do I render HTML here? We have seen this. Does anybody remember? I want this to be treated as HTML, VHTML, correct? Difference between inner HTML and inner text. That was in the DOM side of things, inner HTML. In Vue side, how do you inject HTML? So you say the HTML inside this should be whatever is coming from here. Hit save and you will see unstyled because out of the box Tailwind will remove all styles of li tag and everything. But there is a plugin in Tailwind that FrappeUI comes out of the box, which is called Pros. So it will give you default stylings for such content, right? For example, blogs, product description. So you can say Pros, right? You hit save and you get nice default list. Can be any HTML, markdown, and then it's converted to HTML, right? Nice. Pros is very useful. So it comes as a plugin, but Frappe UI already configures it for you in Tailwind. So you can have sizes as well. So if I want pros SM, so it will be smaller. But yeah, if I come here in my product list and let's say white ruled and I add some more markdown. So you know, just so you know, we are not just this should be an H2. Refresh, you will see this should be an H1, H2. Yeah, now we have rendered this. So tabs component, you can play around. They are fairly straightforward. If you go to frappeui.com and tabs, you will see these are the tabs. They come with a nice animation as well. You can have an icon without the icon. Works. Yeah, you can implement that. Let's see what else we have. This is done. Deploy to FC. Let's delete this thing. What I will do is I don't want to create the products again. So you normally wouldn't do this. I will add a fixtures is product and then bench dash site. Which site? We have created this data on ecom.localhost export fixtures and it exported the product and you will find it here. Exported the product. So when we deploy it to FC, we have the data already. I don't want to create it again. And let's do that. Git add dot get commit dash m day 5 end training and git push. It's out there. Let's go full screen. Yeah. And now let's go to frappecloud.com. Hopefully this works today. Yeah, works. I'll go to my team, create or I can use an existing bench. I have a hacker merge bench. Let's start with a new bench. I'll go with version 50. Nightly is fine. Hopefully it doesn't work. Let's try Mumbai, India only. I'll give it a title called Store E-commerce. I agree. Create bench. Let's add our app. So add from GitHub. And since this is a public thing, I can just paste in the URL of the repository, right? Add this app. Oh, first we have to fetch the branches and it is validating. Nice. Adding the app. App is added. Let's deploy. Copy it. There might be a sidebar.vue in their repository. Soon, this all will also come to Frappe UI, but for the time being, you can copy it from there. So I've already reported this issue of this not closing automatically. But yeah, let's see. Deploy is in progress. Let it deploy. And once we see it live and I share it the link, we will end this session. So just I'll give you a final project and some ideas as well. So work on it. Then only you will be able to uh, grasp, right? Please explain how to use link field and use autocomplete, how to fetch options, etc. Check LMS, right? There it fetches the. I have posted the link yesterday, but again, can is Louis there? Louis, can you share the link of Discord? I don't have it right now. Okay, so it's installing Frappe framework. Hopefully, our app installation doesn't break. So Rohit says Vue for Desk will be implemented for version 15 or next version, and it won't be most probably backward compatible. Like it will be in the framework side, but I think ERP next. So there will be some changes required, so it will be breaking. But yeah, won't be coming to V15. Will be in V16. Our app is getting installed. And it got installed. As you can see, it created chunks for the checkout page, the products page. It also processed the fonts. So this was CRUD, right? Like we did like list, right? We did the to-do project with Frappe UI. Track that thing. Try implementing to-do. Follow along with that project. That was the simplest you will get. That was the homework, right? How do we get the drop down to switch to desk on an avatar? So drop down is a like whatever you place inside the drop down component, it will be the target. Whenever you click, it will automatically trigger the drop down. Yes, the app installation succeeded. So hopefully that's a good sign, right? I'll quickly share with you. So whatever you place inside drop down, right? So you have a drop down component, the Frappe UI drop down component. And whatever you place here, that will be the trigger for it. You place a button, you could place an avatar. This was the solution. Okay, nice. I think bench got created. Let's create a new site. I will install this app. Mumbai, Frappe team. Subdomain, right? VDF e-commerce. I agree. Create site. Creating site. Awesome. Pending. Parappa, parappa. Jobs in progress. Okay, one succeeded. So add site to upstream is basically configuring the domain subdomain. And then new site is running. Let it run. I have installed it locally. So there is a question, is there a way to install Frappe in locally in Mac OS or is it Docker? I don't have Docker based setup. It's manually installed. Follow the instructions, it works. Can we update data without using refresh in app? Do real time on in list or document resource and it will work. Whenever your Frappe backend list or doc updates, it will automatically update your front end. That is out of the box in Frappe. So we have the site. Let's visit the site. So what happens if without logging in, we visit /store and you will see our products, they are not getting fetched because permission issues, right? If you see JavaScript console, you will see permission issues. Get list requires you to be authenticated. So let's do one thing. Let's log in as admin. But our front end is rendered, so that is nice. Let's proceed. Sign at frappe.io. Complete setup. And just to be sure, you will see these two products are there. So I will just go into this site /store. Awesome, these two products are there. Let's click our switcher works. Add to cart works, right? Let's go here. Add to cart. And you will see these are in the cart. Let's do 5 of this, 2 of this. Proceed to checkout. Place the order. Let's go to the backend. So let's go to VTF e-commerce /app. Go to order. Order number 1, customer is administrator. These are the two things we ordered. Order is placed. And that's the end of this training. So yeah, let's go back to slides for one last time. I don't have new slides, just this. Why? Now you know why. The goals, DOM manipulation, Vue.js fundamentals, Tailwind CSS, Frappe UI, everything is covered now, right? You have all the tools in your tool belt. We started with DOM. We started by understanding this. We went to Vue.js. We learned, we built an to-do app. We built a lot of stuff after that as well. We learned about a lot of Vue.js constructs. And then we learned about Tailwind CSS. We played around with Tailwind. Then we integrated Tailwind in Vue.js. Then we integrated all of them in Frappe UI. Then we got that app inside and built for production, right? And we saw what files get generated and how to automate them, how Doppio automates them, right? So you notice, right? In Frappe Cloud, we didn't have to add Doppio. Doppio is just for giving you the initial setup of the project. I hope this session was useful and you will keep playing around with Frappe UI, Vue.js, Tailwind CSS. Share on social media maybe that we went through this training and whatever thoughts you have on this, right? Whatever you learned, whatever new stuff you learned, share it and keep practicing. Happy learning, stay healthy. Going offline in 5, 3, 3.5, 2, 2.5. No, 2.5 then 2. 1.5, 1. Bye bye.